Peace to you, ladies and gentlemen. To define well the human being, we have to start with a reminder of the definition of his maker. At the beginning, there was no physical existence. All what existed was a shadow world with an eternal spirit and consciousness full of all types of emotions, with unlimited wisdom, goodness, and evil. At one point, the eternal spirit or God became self-aware of the necessity of a physical existence in which he can enjoy his unlimited creativity. That's how the first physical creation of God came out of the physical of nothingness as a light. The divine consciousness or mind had already visualized in God's imagination the universe he wanted to create. And so from light he created the matter in all its forms. Once he created a special eternal space for himself, he created a physical shape for himself after he decided that it's time to create living beings in the galaxies and the planets that started to form. However, there is only one eternity, which is the space of God, where time also is infinite as one unit. And all derived timed galaxies are all dependent on eternity, and so all mortal creatures living on them, and so are all limited times specified for these mortal spaces. God, with a breath of his spirit, can give life to all mortal creatures he created. And this source of life is called soul. This soul remains always under the ownership of God, and with it he gives life and takes it. After many creations, the divine spirit refined its products. Also, the divine space refined the mortal spaces related to it too. So from this earth perspective, life on it evolved from monstrous creatures at the beginning, like dinosaurs, big apes, and so forth, until God got under total control his evil, angry side by creating from his fiery nature the jinns or the demons. Once he became the most merciful, the most loving, he decided that it was time to create a mini version of him and put it to test in order to get out of it some wise, peaceful, loving human beings who could join his throne of creation. Unlike demons, who are powerful, evil-orientated, short-tempered, and live long lives, the human beings were made weak, goodness-orientated, live short lives, but with a potential to gain wisdom and knowledge at a faster rate than demons. So now, what is exactly a human being? The artist side of God came to work when, from mud or by mixing clay and water, he created a figure in his own image, then blew life in it from his spirit. And that's how he created the man as a mortal body plus an eternal soul. We all know the details of the physical body of a human being, so I will jump immediately to dissect the side of the human being that really matters for eternity. Every human being has a physical, visible self and a shadow, invisible self, and a soul. The soul belongs to God. The self belongs to the human. The self contains the mortal body and the immortal consciousness, which always stuck with the shadow body. The soul contains the source of life for the body and the record of deeds related to the self it was borrowed for. People use wrongly the word spirit for every person, but the term should actually be used for every connection a self can make with other selves. Whether the other self is an animal, a demon, another human, or God Himself. When the connection is made sincerely with God, that is the notion when we say someone has got the Holy Spirit. However, spirituality in the term used in language and culture today is a word that is used to any connection with other invisible selves, and in most cases with demons. For example, Jesus had often the Holy Spirit, while people like Aleister Crowley, for example, had always a demonic spirit. When a human being is connected sincerely with God, He sends him knowledge, guidance, and wisdom via the Holy Spirit. But when a human being is connected for selfish reasons and out of desire and lust and wishful thinking, he will get tuned in with one demon or many demons. The Holy Spirit leads people from darkness to light and so into self-construction. The demonic spirit leads people from light to darkness and so into self-destruction. So now, what is the purpose of our mortal lives? Why are we here? There are two purposes of the human mortal life on earth, for the human mortal life. One purpose is the individual purpose as a human being. The second is the collective purpose as a human race. The individual purpose for every human being is to create himself eternally. That means God has given us a great chance to join His eternity, but to achieve this, we have to justify ourselves that we are good enough to win such reward. And the measure of our success gives us a certain level in eternity. There will be a very few who will get their places in the close circle of God. So atheists and non-believers cannot blame God for creating them because He didn't. They were given a chance to create themselves and they are free to press the exit button if they wanted to. So we have been given a complete free will to be or not to be. And it's up to every individual to create the self he or she wants for eternity and where he wanted to live this eternity. How to win eternity and what happens after death, I will give you a detailed answer in coming episodes. But right now, you have to believe that the purpose of your mortal life is to create your eternal self, so act accordingly. Now, what is the collective purpose of the human race? The collective purpose of our human race is to rule wisely this planet by protecting the ecosystem and keep it balanced. We have to rule the earth with justice. We have to resist our selfishness, lust, and greed. We have to unite in peace and destroy labels and divisions. We should all work for free for the sake of our species and all other living species around us. The scientist gives his science for free. The farmer gives his agricultural products for free. Electricity and internet should be provided for free. All weapons must be destroyed. Every abuse of nature must be seized. We have to reproduce at a sane rate. I will give all the details in a coming speech, but in general, we have to make our world godly, a world of peace, justice, cooperation, and environment protection, and taking care of animals, insects, birds, and every living being on this earth. Thank you for listening.